Kendra, we can't lose sight of the law passed last year to drastically shorten the number of early voting days for this runoff election. And I think you can sort of look at these images, at these videos of voters standing in line, sometimes 2 hours, the line wrapping around the block. And you can either say, thank goodness voters are amazing. You go. I'm so excited people are fired up about democracy. Or you can say, it's not supposed to be this way, right? It's not supposed to take this much time to perform your civic duty. Your sense, what you make of how Georgia voters have responded over the last week?
First, thank you for having me on this evening, Alicia, especially alongside Adrienne. I'm really excited about it. I really want to kind of start off my commentary by rejecting the premise of something that Sahil said about Brian Kemp rejecting Trumpism wholeheartedly or the lies that Trump said about the election. It's not true. Because we have SB 202, the legislation that you're referencing right now, as a response to the big lie that was propagated post January the 5th and everything that happened on January the 6th. Brian Kemp carried the water on that legislation to our state legislature, and that's how it got moved. And that legislation resulted in the cluster that we have right now in this runoff election with this truncated time period. We lost a full 4 weeks in order to prepare for this runoff. We lost the ability to register people to vote for this runoff. The voter registration deadline for this runoff was November 7th, one full day before the November 8th general, one full day before we even knew whether or not there was going to be a runoff in the first place. That is because Brian Kemp and his cronies kind of yielded, if you will, to that big lie. And Georgians are suffering as a result of it.
Adrienne, this is all happening. There's sort of like there are counterforces, right? There's what you just laid out about how Brian Kemp, how Republicans have made it harder to vote in this state. And then you have organizers who have been working a decade to capture Georgia's shifting demographics into political power. So your sense of how that outreach, which has been done by a lot of people, a lot of institutions, has put this state into play for Democrats?
Well, I want to, if I could just touch base on that last piece of the conversation, though, because I think that we talked to a lot of folks on the doors just today who voted yesterday early, and they were upset about having to stand an hour and a half, 2 hour long line. They do not see that as a badge of honor. They see that as obstacles being put up in their way. They see it as harassment to their ability to be able to get to the polls and cast their ballot. They do not think it should be that way. And while it's, on the one hand, we want to applaud people for their perseverance, it really should not be that way. I do think, and I appreciate being here with Kendra as well, because the work that is happening on the ground right now is extraordinary. I think we have seen extraordinary work across, the last few cycles in terms of the work that independent organizations are doing to make sure that voters are informed, to make sure that they have the information that they need, to make sure that they're registered, to make sure they get to the polls. It really is an extraordinary effort. The two largest programs in the state are represented on your program right now. And that's important because it means that when we ended the general election, we actually started our program overall, our programs collectively started 3 times larger than they were at the end of the general in 2020. So we went into the runoff we're going into this runoff bigger and more robust than we went into the last runoff. And that's meaningful. And you can see the way that that's playing out in the excitement that's happening on the ground. I think Georgia voters are demonstrating once again the degree to which they take their citizenship and their stewardship of our democracy very, very seriously. But they're also demonstrating what you were talking about earlier, that this means something not just to the country, but it means something to Georgians. Right. And the stark difference between the choices is not lost in any way, shape, or form on these voters. And so their understanding about what needs to happen and what they need to do to make sure that that we get a candidate like Senator Warnock and not the other is, again, significant in the way that they are understanding what's happening.
you.